Sorry.
Cali Kid Official.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Cali Kid Official Podcast. This is episode 9. A lot happened and a lot has been going on, so let's get right into it. So this past week we had a couple of projects drop. We had Little Uzi Vert drop Eternal Take / the deluxe version. We had Blueface drop his debut album Find the Beat. We had Rich the Kid drop Boss Man, and we had Jay Electronica drop his debut album, A Written Testimony. So I got a chance to listen to the albums, and for the most part all of them was pretty much mediocre. I mean, Rich the Kid, the album was pretty much him swag rapping. There wasn't really no smashes on there like a plug walk or whatever, so the project was pretty mediocre. Uzi Vert, his project is sold a lot because, you know, he has that fan base, but the project was mediocre to me. Listening to the project, a lot of the records started to sound the same beats and stuff. So I don't know if it's that I've outgrown his music or is that he's changed his style, but I wasn't really feeling the project. It still sold well, but it was pretty mediocre to me. And then the Blueface project was subpar and mediocre as well. He's still a new artist, so I think it's going to take him some time to actually put together a great body of work. And I think he's still trying to find that follow-up to Tatiana on this project. He had a couple of singles on here, the Obama track, the Holy Moly track, and there was a couple of other ones, but the project was pretty subpar. And like Rich the Kid and Blueface, their album sales are pretty low. They're expected to sell between 10 and 15,000, which is basically reflective of how people felt about the projects. They were subpar. And then we get to Jay Electronica's debut album, which, you know, all this time waiting for him to put out a project, it was subpar as well. And on like pretty much most of the records, Jay-Z is on there, so it's kind of like, how is this even a debut album? It's more like a group album with you and Jay-Z. When you put out a debut album, it should be you that's shining on the project. And for the most part, it seems like Jay-Z pretty much overshadowed him on this project, and it was pretty boring to me. And then he and Joe Budden got into like this mini feud over, you know, the project. So I wanted to pull that up real quick. He says, "I never got absolutely mopped around on my own project either," wrote Budden in response to Electronica's mean towards one of the podcasters co-hosts. And then Jay says, "I never heard your albums, bro. May Allah bless your career as a journalist." And then Budden says, "I took you off yours and it's a whole mixtape now. Peace be unto you as well, King." So they throw some shots at each other, which, you know, I kind of have the same sentiments as well. As like, he put out, you know, a couple of good records back in the day, and people have been waiting for a project from him, and then he gives us this, and it's pretty much subpar. Like, all 4 of those projects is pretty subpar to me. I think because now, like, I'm more into music with substance, but don't get me wrong, I do like the party records, but at a certain point it's like you gotta elevate what you're talking about. It can't just be swag rap over and over and over and over again, and you're not really talking about nothing. And then when you start making music as well, your ear, when you're listening to music, it changes as well. And I've noticed that, like, the way you listen to music is completely different. And, you know, I've been making music for going on 8 years now. So my my ear for music is different from the average person that's just listening to music. So, but yeah, well, I'm pretty sure this ain't gonna go too much further after that. But they had a little spat back and forth. And then we got some upcoming music releases. As of this podcast, The Weeknd dropped his new album After Hours. The cover art is basically like him with like blood spilling out his mouth, and he has like this grimace on his face. Let me pull it up so you guys can see. Let's see. Yeah, it is a track list. So we got 14 records. So basically, before the project even dropped, a lot of the features were pretty much hidden, but there's probably a couple of features on there. I haven't had a chance to actually get into the project, but after this podcast, I'm gonna get into it, and on the next one, I'm gonna get my review of that. But he's dropping. J Rock from TDE, he posted online that he's about 80% done with the album, so he's going to be dropping later in 2020. Kendrick is coming, and of course Drake is coming, and there's this theory being floated out there that maybe Kendrick is waiting for Drake to drop, which I think is pretty interesting because the last time that Kendrick and Drake dropped projects pretty much around the same time, Kendrick outsold him, so that'd be pretty interesting. And then Drake dropped those two freestyle records, the Chicago Freestyle and When to Say When, or however that record goes. But both of them was pretty fire. He was talking his shit on there, so that was dope. So those are the two projects I'm looking forward to: Drake and Kendrick. J Rock, he gonna be dropping some heat too, but Kendrick and Drake, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a lot to say, especially Kendrick because he hasn't released a project since Damn, and that was, when did Damn come out? Had to be, let's see, had to be at least 3 years since he last dropped an album, so I'm expecting some heat from that. But yeah, those are the projects that are coming. And then Drake achieved a huge milestone. He now is the sole owner of the person with the most Hot 100 Billboard hits, and as of right now he has 208. So that basically speaks to his longevity and his ability to create hit records and stay relevant. So hats off to him for that. And then in the social media news, it's been found out that TikTok apparently is censoring people. It says that they're censoring ugly, poor, rural areas and basically like nudity like images, which I mean that's kind of expected because if you don't know, TikTok is a Chinese-based app, and their censorship over there is very apparent. So that's something that should have been expected by most people. And then Lizzo, she feuded with him because she got mad that they took down her bikini pictures and stuff. But I said back in a couple of podcasts ago that they would do that because the stuff that she was putting on there was overly sexualized, and it's a platform mostly used by children, and they're not going to allow that to be on there. And then there was this one video she posted where she was simulating giving a dude head, and it was like, what did you expect? This isn't Instagram, and even on Instagram they're removing those types of images and stuff. So this was pretty much found out by people at a website called theintercept.com. So if you guys want to learn more about them censoring or whatever, you guys can head over there. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then we get the coronavirus. The coronavirus has had thus far a major impact on pretty much every sector of life. You go to the stores to get food and stuff, is very scarce. They're limiting people to what they can get. You had these two brothers in Tennessee that was basically being greed whores by buying up a bunch of sanitization products and basically selling them at a hiked up price on eBay and Amazon. And eventually the Attorney General of Tennessee found out about it and basically shut the whole thing down. So they basically, I think they confiscated all the items and made them donate them. But the brothers' names is Matt and Noah Colvin. So right here, this is the video. It says, Matt did not answer our call, so we went to a storage unit. So yeah, they bought up all these products and put them in a storage unit and then was selling stuff at $70. Hand sanitizer at $70 each. $8 to $70 each. That's ridiculous. And these are the types of things that you have to, watch out for. And when events like this happen, you have people that try to take advantage and, do stuff that they shouldn't do. So right here it says the AG's office is on the scene facilitating with the donation. This is the third stop they've been to this morning to gather sanitizer. So yeah, they loading all the stuff onto U-Haul trucks so it could be donated. Yeah, it's like, that's just foul. People always want to try to come up off something, whether it's somebody dying or, events like this. And this is the goofy shit I be talking about that people be doing. So they lucky that they don't face some type of jail time for taking advantage of a situation like that. And then like a lot of establishments are closing or shutting down early. A lot of the schools, have closed, which is, it's kind of crazy, especially for college students, because it's like, I know back when I was in college as an art student, a lot of your projects, you have to be hands-on. So it's like, how is that going to work? Especially like if you had to do like a ceramics project or something. So a lot of the students, they're having to do their work online and doing online courses and stuff. The whole situation is crazy. It's like this is messing up a lot, like people's graduations, people not being able to work. So it's like, how you gonna pay your rent? It's crazy. I know the Nike stores didn't close. A lot of the, all the different sports stadiums, all the sports leagues, and pretty much shut down. But WWE and AEW, they still bringing us, the content they're performing, but without an audience. And it's a pretty interesting thing. We've got some gold moments from it. There's on the episode of Raw with Stone Cold, like, how he does the whole "give me a hell yeah" thing, and it's kind of funny. He was like, "Such and such, give me a hell yeah," and there's no audience to say it back. So it was kind of crazy. And then he stunned one of the announcers that was being corny. And then there's this gif of him like drinking beer and then he's falling back in the ring. So the ordeal is pretty crazy. And then they're going to be having WrestleMania at the Performance Center as well. So that's going to be crazy, especially with no audience. And it's going to be a 2-night affair, and Rob Gronkowski is going to be hosting it. So that's probably going to be like his first WWE like gig, I guess, before they start actually getting him into the wrestling. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's like rain or shine, WWE is giving people the content that they want. It's different, but it's interesting, and it also gives you a look into how important fans are to the actual overall product, fans and the fans engagement. So that's pretty interesting. And then Trump has been talking about signing into law this stimulus package that's basically going to give businesses money, and he's talking about giving Americans money too. So let me pull that up, because it's like, yeah, because people can't work. So it's like, how they gonna pay their bills and stuff. It says president's looking to provide immediate financial relief. Let's see. It says a massive economic stimulus package is on the brink of reality in Washington, which will entail direct cash payments to be sent to Americans. We're looking at sending checks to Americans immediately, said Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, and I mean now, in the next 2 weeks. The White House is trying to push this into law as soon as possible, meaning that it could become a reality within the next couple of weeks. The cash payment idea is part of a larger $850 billion stimulus package proposed by Congress As Trump stated earlier this week, the package is likely to include support for businesses, airlines, and more industries that have been directly affected by COVID-19. Yes, because it's like with the shutdown is affecting business. So that'd be interesting if it goes through. I wonder if it's just for businesses or if it's for like all the citizens as well. At least things is being done about the situation. But the one thing that, you guys, that people shouldn't do is panic or be scared or anything like that. Throughout history and time, there's been, epidemics and stuff. But we as a people, we're gonna overcome it or whatever. So all you gotta do is, remain calm. Everything's gonna be okay. Don't panic over the situation. And stress is not good. And things like this. Always think positive, because when you stressing and stuff like that, it has an effect on your health. So always remain positive. Things are gonna get better. This is just something that we have to, endure for the time being. So with this extra time on your hands at home, you could take the time, to read up on something, get a hobby, think of a business idea, work on music or whatever it is, you like to do. So, but we also got some more people in the news in terms of like celebrities that's contracted the virus. We got Lucian Grange, who's the CEO of Universal. He's contracted it. Idris Elba, that actor. Kevin Durant got it. Sean Payton of the Saints, is traveling around. So that must mean that it's airborne, because I do believe that most viruses are airborne. So that's probably why it's traveling like that. But there's also a lot of people recovering from it too, and that's what's not being pushed out into the media. Although that there are, a number of cases, there are a lot of people recovering from it all throughout the world, in China, India, the US, everywhere. You know, Italy has been hit particularly hard because a lot of their population, from what I've been reading, is much older, and it's having an effect on the much older citizens. So that's why they've been hit so hard. But people are actually recovering from it. There's different institutes around the world that's working on cures for it, and they've been developing kits for people to get tested and things of that nature. So things are being done. Eventually this will pass, but just remain positive or whatever. And also during this time, you got people that trying to make a bad situation better. So we got Trey Young doing like a 3-point contest with his laundry, because people was bored, so they just doing stuff. So let me guys show you this. So we had that, and then we had Shaq taking a Lysol bath. I haven't seen this part, so this would be my first time seeing it. But I thought this is funny. I had to mute that. This ass is stupid. That lemon Lysol. He's stupid. Look at he coughing. Yeah, cause you can't. You're not supposed to inhale that stuff. You gotta be careful. You're not supposed to spray that like that. But I thought that was funny. There was this video of Chris Brown, like doing the moonwalk, spraying the spray, talking about stay back too. But yeah, people, is finding things to do. They're bored, so they online posting different videos. Yeah, Kevin Hart sharing a story of him um, eating some uncooked chicken while he was overseas, and during his stand-up routine, he was at the last point of his joke, and that's when it hit him, and he basically said that he shitted himself on stage. So that was pretty funny. So you got a lot of people doing different things. You got people working on music. I saw Roddy Ricch, he posted that he's working on music. I just saw a video of Travis Scott. He was doing something with an old school sample that was pretty cool. And you had Drake post a video of him getting a cut, and he kept making these weird faces and stuff every time the barber tried to cut him up. Then you had LeBron talking about, I look rough out here. I can't even go see my barber. But for those of you that are used to going to the barber, you can take this time to learn how to cut your own hair. Because that's what I did. Because I got tired of going to the barber every week. So when you learn how to do it yourself, you basically can cut your hair any time. So that's pretty much all I wanted to touch upon in regards to that. This will eventually pass. But moving into sports, Tom Brady is leaving the New England Patriots. As a Patriot fan, it hurts. Tom Brady is the reason why I became a Patriot fan. He's also my favorite player. So even though he's moving on, I'm still going to support him. But my team is still the Patriots. So he's signing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's for 2 years at $50 million guaranteed. So the Buccaneers are looking like they definitely want to be playoff contenders, and I believe they have what it takes to go to the Super Bowl too, because they got a lot of weapons on their roster. You got 2 Pro Bowl receivers and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. You got OJ Howard at tight end, and then there's another tight end as well. So this is probably the best crop of talent Brady has had at one time in his career. Yeah, you had the 2007 season with Moss and Walker, but that was just one guy. In this, you got multiple guys. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they got some good players as well. Shaq Barrett, he led the league in sacks last year. So you got some solid players all around. And since Brady has signed with the Bucks, there's been reported that a numerous amount of players have inquired about signing with the Bucks due to Brady. So he has the same effect as LeBron has in the NBA in terms of, bringing in talent. And of course, Tom Brady wants to play with Antonio Brown, but there's been reports that the Bucks are kind of leery on not signing him because of the coaches working with him in Pittsburgh. But I think that's dumb. I think that y'all should sign him. Think about it. Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, OJ Howard, and everybody else. That man, how legendary that offense would be. I wouldn't be surprised if Brady threw for 6,000 yards with all them weapons on the field. And I know he having a field day with this because this is what he wanted. And Bill was being cheap and giving him, pretty much nothing to work with. As we saw last season, that was the worst offensive roster probably in NFL history, especially for the Patriots. That's the worst offensive roster they've ever had. The receivers can't catch the ball. Julian Edelman was pretty much hurt the whole season. He had a shoulder injury as well as a knee injury, so he has to have surgery in the off season. I don't know if he's already taken part in that, but there's that. I saw that Deion Sanders put a tweet out there that Julian should sign with the Bucks. I don't know if he's still under contract with the Patriots, but he was basically making a comparison of Tom Brady and Julian Edelman, it's like peanut butter without jelly if one is apart from the other, because they built up this rapport that, and they had this chemistry that they believe in each other. So it would be interesting. But Tom Brady is a buck, and what's been reported is that Bill and the Pats pretty much never negotiated with Tom. As the free agency was unfolding, we saw several players get deals, and as you know, with each deal means less money. So they pretty much, never gave him what he wanted, and that's why he walked out. And there's also been reports that the writing was on the wall back in 2017, and so that there's been this divide ever since then, which we can sense, especially with the Jimmy Garoppolo trade. Bill was trying to get Tom out of there and go with Jimmy, but he was vetoed by Kraft. But this time around, Kraft pretty much let Bill make the decision. So there's been a rift there, but it's been interesting. It's going to be interesting this season, whenever the season starts. Hopefully this epidemic is, passed by at the end of it, everything returns to normal. But it's going to be a pretty interesting season. The Patriots are pretty much in rebuild mode. They got a lot of draft picks, so I'm expecting them to retool up. They need to get younger. They need to get faster on defense, especially at the linebacker position. They need to go back to a 4-3. That defense they ran last year couldn't stop the run, so I'm expecting them to go back to the 4-3. So that's pretty much, all I got to say on that. And then also, the Carolina Panthers are basically getting rid of Cam Newton. They signed Teddy Bridgewater to a 3-year, $60 million deal. And it's being reports by Cam that he's being forced out, and that he didn't request for the trade. So let me pull that up for you guys. Panthers, they posted, "We have given Cam Newton permission to seek a trade." Cam says, "Stop with the wordplay. I never asked for it. There is no dodging this one. I love the Panthers to death and will always love you guys. Please do not try and play me or manipulate the narrative and act like I wanted this. You forced me into this." And he basically, what he's saying right here is basically co-signed by Greg Olsen, who was a tight end for them. Right here he says, "Sounds familiar." So basically Greg Olsen was in a similar situation where he was pretty much forced out. And that's what a lot of these franchises be doing. They be forcing players out, or make it seem like players want a certain thing when they don't. But there's been a lot of moving parts in the free agency. The Colts signed Phillip Rivers for a 1-year, $25 million deal. So I'm expecting this to be like a transition year for them while they figure out who they're going to go with at quarterback. It's a couple of quarterbacks in this draft, but who knows if they'll be able to land one of them. So this is just a transition year for them. In a shock trade, the Cardinals trade running back David Johnson, a 2nd-round pick, and a 2021 4th-round pick to the Texans for wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, and a 4th-round pick. So I don't know what Bill O'Brien is doing. Why would you get rid of your best receiver? I don't know if it was, they probably didn't want to pay him what he wanted, so that's probably why they traded him. But they pretty much got fleeced in this trade, because what the Cards gave them does not equal what the Cards received. So that's crazy. The Browns, they signed Austin Hooper to a 4-year, $42 million deal. So that's another tight end that they can put on the opposite side of Joku. Dak was offered $33 million per year, but it's being reported he wants $40 million per year. It's like, dude, you're not getting that. You didn't do shit last year. Y'all team didn't make the playoffs, and y'all record was trash. And you want $40 million per year? When it comes down to being clutch, you're not clutch, and you're not delivering. And then also the Titans, they re-signed Ryan Tannehill, 4 years, $118 million, which is kind of effed up because they franchise tagged Derrick Henry. And if you know, Derrick Henry pretty much carried the team throughout the playoffs. They rolled, all the way through the playoffs on his legs. So I think that's kind of BS. And then we got Witten signing a 1-year deal with the Raiders. The Raiders also signed the quarterback from the Titans. I can't think of his name. He played for the Ducks though. But yeah, there's some other players signing as well. I believe Melvin Gordon, he signed with the Broncos. There's been reports that Todd Gurley might be going to Atlanta. So it's a lot of moving parts in free agency. So we'll just have to see, how this turns out, once these players actually get to these teams and actually, be able to perform on the field. Because, you may think certain players to certain teams might do a particular thing, and then when it comes time to playing, it's something completely different. So that's pretty much, the updates for, NFL free agency. And then in boxing, Canelo's opponent will be not Callum Smith, not Billy Joe Saunders, but a trilogy bout with Triple G, which I don't know. That was kind of crazy because it's like, I reported, I believe it was the last podcast or the one before that they had narrowed it down to the two fighters of being Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. And then for whatever reason, they got pushed to the side for a Triple G bout, which is slated for September. So I know those two camps is probably disappointed in that decision. So I don't know what happened in the negotiations. Maybe it was a money thing. Who knows? A lot goes into making these fights happen. And if a particular side isn't happy with the language in the contract or the money or whatever, then that's how they oftentimes break down. But the first two fights, the first fight, I believe they said that Triple G won. And then the second one, Canelo edged him. So basically we're going to be getting two trilogy fights this year. Wilder Fury 3, and then Triple G and Canelo 3. So I'm expecting Wilder to rebound. He's going to have to make some serious adjustments though. He's going to have to do more than just sit back behind that right hand. He's going to have to press the issue on Fury, because Fury is the bigger guy and he has the size. And in his third bout, I'm pretty sure he's going to do the same thing. Fight dirty, lean on you, punch him after the bell. So he's also going to have to bulk up because he's too undersized. But he needs to be with somebody that can teach him, to throw combinations, because he don't throw combinations. I feel if he had a trainer that, the trainer he has experience and was, I believe was a medalist in the Olympics. So the trainer has the credentials, but it's like Wilder, his skill set is limited. I feel as though if he had a more polished skill set, nobody would be able to beat him. Because that last outing, that was terrible. And then, he blamed it on his suit, which I can understand, wearing a 40-something pound suit walking to the ring. It can have an effect on your legs. So my advice would be not to wear those suits. They look dope, but if it's going to have an effect on your ability to perform, I would rather you just come out in something, that's not heavy. You can still make an entrance. Floyd did it all throughout his career, whether it's him fighting Oscar De La Hoya with the sombrero on and the Mexican flag colors, or him coming out against Conor McGregor with the ski mask on, which basically symbolized him robbing the bank or whatever. Speaking of Floyd Mayweather, he's been dealing with a lot, and most recently, his uncle Roger Mayweather unfortunately passed away at the age of 58. If you don't know, he trained Floyd for most of his fights. He was also a former two-time world champion in boxing. He was the WBA super featherweight champ and the WBC lightweight a light welterweight champ. And if you guys don't know, in certain interviews, Floyd has spoken about Roger's health declining. There was one point where Roger had left the house and went missing, so his health has been in decline for a minute. So it's very unfortunate for this death to happen so suddenly, because the week prior, the mother of 3 of his kids, Josie Harris, she passed away as well. So it's like he got hit back to back. So I know his emotional state must be crazy right now, and only thing we can do is offer our condolences and prayers to him. That's crazy. That's crazy, man, and very unfortunate. It's like, wow, to get hit with 2 deaths so close like that back to back. Your uncle who was there with you throughout your career, and then the mother of 3 of your kids. So it's like he got to remain strong for his kids while also trying to remain strong himself. So it's crazy, but yeah, the only thing I can do is offer my condolences to him. But moving on from that, Rob Gronkowski is expected to make his debut on WWE SmackDown, which once you guys see this, it would be on Friday SmackDown, which would be the day prior. So he's expected to debut on there. He also might appear at SummerSlam. He is going to be at WrestleMania. He's going to be hosting that. It was pretty much related by Mojo Riley, whose close friends was Rob, that he was going to be appearing on SmackDown. So that's going to be pretty interesting. Oh, also in the news, former President Barack Obama was in the news because some people were snooping on Twitter, and they found out that he follows porn star Sarah J. If you don't know, she's a very voluptuous woman. So people get a look into the type of porn he watches, and I guess he's a fan of her. So that was pretty interesting. And then also in the news, we get Hitmaker, aka Young Berg. Earlier in the week, it was reported that he had pistol whipped a woman that he was romantically involved with. They were saying that was his girlfriend, which wasn't the case. That was just somebody that he was, entertaining at the time. And a whole series of events basically played out from the situation. So if you guys don't know, the images has surfaced of her being pistol whipped or whatever, but it turns out that she was a part of a plot to rob him. So she basically set up a plot with a couple of other dudes to rob him, and the reason why she got those lacerations on her face is because he was defending himself. So this shit is crazy. So let me guys show you. So right here, this is what he wrote. He says, on Saturday, 4:30 a.m., 3 gunmen made an attempt on my life and home invasion. I have all the surveillance footage, which some I'm posting, and also other evidence needed. I retained legal counsel and decided that with this matter, which I'm totally traumatized about, that I must let the truth out, as media outlets without having proper info are attempted to stain my character and reputation that I have spent my entire life building. I could have been murdered inside my home on Saturday, similar to what happened to Pop Smoke. RIP to him too, though. And I would like to take this time and thank all of my family, friends, and colleagues who have reached out regarding the matter, sending love and positive energy. This footage is very alarming to all my fellow people in music and living in Los Angeles area. Please be safe and monitor who you allow in your home. I made a crucial mistake which costed my life. This woman was not my girlfriend ever. I won't dive further into this and will let my lawyers move forward accordingly. Please stay safe amidst these tragic times, not only for myself but the entire world. Swipe right for more. And my lawyer's statement, video number 1, suspects passing firearms through my home gate. Video 2, suspects retreating after my ADT alarm sounds and jumping gate on property. So yeah, this is something I spoke on before with the situation with Pop Smoke. you have to be very, very careful with who you allow around your space, because a lot of people are out to get you. So, and it's also the saying, don't shit where you sleep. So you have to be careful who you let in your home. If you don't particularly know this person very well, do not invite them in your home, because they could be looking to set you up. And that was a situation right here. And he also talked about how the argument unfolded, and when he went in her phone, he saw text messages from her to the robbers before and during the situation, which is crazy. So right here, this is the first video. So right here, you see him hopping the gate. And you see him pulling the gun out his pocket, and he passing it through. So yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Crazy. And like, it's so sad that, people sink to this level. Like, you doing all this for a piece of paper that at any point can become worthless at the drop of a dime. This shit is crazy. So yeah, that's that part. And then this is the other one. So yeah, this is him running because of the alarm. Dumbass. You on camera and you going to jail. You going to jail for having firearms. That's the other person. So it was two people. That's crazy. Yeah. Once they get caught, y'all gonna be doing some time. This is the goofy shit I be talking about. People be doing too much goofy shit. Dumbass. It's like, y'all doing all this for a fucking piece of paper. And this is a chick right here. If you ask me, she got what she deserved. I don't care about her being a female or anything like that. When you do goofy shit like this, don't get mad or cry or throw your hands in the air when shit backfires on you, because you shouldn't have done some stupid shit like this before. But I'm pretty sure this story, more info is going to come out as the case get worked out and resolved. But that's pretty much going to do it for this week's podcast. I appreciate you all for tuning in. My album Euphoria will be dropping in 2 weeks on the 3rd, so make sure you guys support that. I already have merch for that. There will be a link to that in the description, so make sure you guys support that too. When the album drops, I want you guys to give me feedback, let me know what you guys think. And until the next podcast, peace. And also, make sure you guys take care of yourself, be healthy, stay positive, don't panic, everything's gonna be okay. Love you guys. Peace.